are now an hour past curfew, the county-wide curfew. Protesters have been having a standoff here with police behind me. Now it appears that IMPD has agreed to walk with the protesters. Quite a large crowd gathered here outside the city county building in downtown Indianapolis. No justice, no peace are some of the phrases that protesters are chanting after a man was killed by IMPD. If your county has a high amount of COVID cases, then you're protected under this moratorium. But because this could change so rapidly, the threat of eviction is still very real for many people. In fact, it's estimated 1 in 10 Hoosier households right now are at risk of eviction. Yeah, guys, well, if you drive down any road here right now in Pendleton, this is what you're going to see. Trees uprooted. Back here today in the daylight, we are having a better look here at the damage and just how widespread it is. Damage, take a look here. Like this. There was no perceived motive other than an act of murder-suicide in the attack at a FedEx facility in April. Police say the attack did not appear to be racially or ethically motivated. Well, Meredith, after 2 days of searching this home where baby Amaya was reportedly last seen, police are calling it a day, ending the search here. What this machine is doing is collecting her blood here, separating the red cells from the plasma, which is the yellow golden fluid, and that is used to treat COVID-19 patients. Hundreds of interviews, dozens of search warrants, and hours of surveillance later. United States Attorney Josh Minkler announced today Mayor Dennis Tyler has been indicted. Booker and his attorney say they continue to cooperate with the FBI's investigation into this as a hate crime. I took what I found out through this investigation straight to the governor and the state health commissioner. You made reducing infant mortality one of your targeted issues as governor. What have you done and what resources have you dedicated to doing that?
WRTV Investigates Stephanie Wade has been covering the eviction crisis for us since the onset of the pandemic, following what's been happening every step of the way.
Yeah, she's live showing us an exclusive look into a new program the city of Indianapolis has come up with to hopefully help people avoid eviction. Good evening, Stephanie.
Yeah, Mark and Amanda, a lot to break down here. Yet again, another extension of the CDC eviction ban by President Biden. Now, this time it depends on where you live, if you can stay in your home or not. If your county has a high amount of COVID cases, then you're protected under this moratorium. But because this could change so rapidly, the threat of eviction is still very real for many people. In fact, it's estimated 1 in 10 Hoosier households right now are at risk of eviction. And here in Indianapolis, 16% of renters are behind on their rent. That number, 145,000 people. On this busy day at the Lawrence Township Small Claims Court, people are pouring in for their eviction hearing. The pandemic cutting many people's pay or hours of work, making them unable to keep up on rent.
I'm struggling to try to keep my head above water. Like, it's hard for people out here, right? Pandemic has hit everyone hard.
To combat this, the city has come up with a brand new initiative, first of its kind in the state, calling it the Tenant Advocacy Project.
So you folks are both waiting to see lawyers, correct?
For the first time ever, if renters arrive to eviction proceedings without representation, they are offered free legal counsel through Indiana Legal Services and the Neighborhood Christian Legal Clinic to help them with their case.
You're going to give me free legal? Oh, yes, thank you.
One by one, tenants took them up on their offer.
It's what we expected and hoped.
Attorneys reviewing their case, providing legal advice, and seeing who might qualify for this new CDC moratorium. Plus,
good morning,
making sure people are aware of rental assistance and actually helping them apply for the Indy Rent program right there on the spot.
So let's go through it together.
It's a lot of resources that I didn't even know about.
I mean, this is the last ditch. This is eviction court.
Stacia Swanigan says her hours were reduced during the pandemic. She struggled to pay rent.
The bills, oh my gosh, it's like my light bill tripled. My gas and water bill because the kids are at home now.
And coming to fight to keep she and her 3 kids in their home without legal representation was terrifying.
We don't know what we have as like our rights. We don't know what we can do, what we can't do.
According to Judge Kimberly Bacon, only about 3% of tenants bring attorneys when they come to court, whereas 81% of landlords bring representation. If people can't pay their rent, advocates say they likely can't pay for legal fees either, which can add up to hundreds and even thousands of dollars. The pro bono attorneys volunteering their time.
If we can't make sure that people stay stably housed, then we also can't make sure that they're safe, their kids are safe, and that they're healthy. And so I just felt like it was something I could do. It's not everything, but it's something. And I am one, but I am one, and I can be here and I can help.
I'm just trying to keep my head above water and continue on with my day with my head held high for my children.
Now, this is just a pilot program for 1 year. They're working on placing attorneys in all 9 Marion County small claims courts. Mayor Hogsett says they're just trying to give people unfamiliar with the legal process facing the system alone a fair shake. Reporting live tonight, Stephanie Wade, WRTV Investigates.
And Stephanie, it really helps to really shine a light on these programs for renters out there that they might not know about. You mentioned this is a pilot program. Is there a possibility that they could extend this program just past 1 year?
Yeah, Mark, the city says if it's effective, they will consider extending this. Right now, it's a little too soon to tell, but they say other cities like Cleveland, which is just nearby, they've seen success, which have similar programs. And Judge Bacon says in those cities, they're seeing 60% more cases get resolved when both sides have legal aid. Mark, back to you.
All right, our Stephanie Wade, thank you tonight.
With violent crime on the rise in Indianapolis, 2020 shattering the record number of homicides over previous years, and the first half of 2021 continuing on a record pace. Guns are flooding the crime lab, forensics working around the clock to hopefully glean some information that detectives can then use to get criminals off the streets.
We are definitely busy, yes ma'am, every day.
Guns of all sizes.
Glock, Smith & Wesson.
To larger handguns.
We're talking like subcompact pistols.
To even larger rifles.
You know, full-size rifles like an AK style, SKS style.
Are being brought to the crime lab at a staggering pace these days.
We do definitely feel like it never stops. If we get too far behind, we get behind really fast.
In 2020, the Indianapolis Metro Police Department recovered 3,090 firearms involved in a crime. As of last week, 2,442 firearms have been seized so far this year, quickly approaching last year's numbers, and we're only in July.
Seizing crime guns out of the hands of perpetrators of gun violence is a focus of IMPD.
Metro Police are submitting a couple dozen guns and shell casings for analysis each day to the crime lab. Every gun is examined, fired, and photographed. Casings get a microscopic photo before being entered into a database that can determine if they've been used in other shootings around the city.
So that almost looks like one cartridge case. So that right there shows me that this was fired in the same gun.
These marks are the fingerprint of the firearm.
When this program took shape in 2018, the lab was able to match evidence that resulted in 435 leads that year, aiding in arrests. In 2019, they found 924 leads. In 2020, 1,099 leads. And so far this year have found 1,246 leads, already topping last year's numbers.
That's a good sign that we're connecting the pieces.
This can be the key, police say, to unlocking another violent crime.
An unwitnessed homicide may link to a case where there is a witness shooting.
We're able to connect multiple cases, resolve multiple cases.
And that's exactly what happened in the case on Cressmore Court, where someone fired multiple shots into a home. Fast forward 5 days later, detectives seized a gun in a traffic stop on the other side of town that, through forensic analysis, matched evidence that was found at the shooting, allowing them to file charges against a 20-year-old man for criminal recklessness and who is now serving a 3-year sentence.
We are recovering more crime guns that are linking to additional incidents. More evidence from crime scenes is linking to additional incidents. And we're viewing this information and analyzing this information in a way that we haven't been to in the past.
Helping police find those involved in shootings before another victim is added to our city's growing list.
Being able to prevent the next crime is essential in reducing gun violence. Provide a safer neighborhood for everybody's families.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
So, Stephanie, what is the biggest difference between last night and now?
Mark and Amanda, it was very difficult to see last night. It was pretty dark out because the power was knocked out really in every direction that you looked. And for some people today, that was still the case. Emergency management crews tell me there are still about 1,500 homes without power tonight. The damage widespread here in Pendleton.
No power. Yeah, our electrical panel, our returns pulled out of the roof.
Very ridiculous. All the damage, yeah.
Massive trees uprooted, tossed across yards, blocking streets.
We were going down into the basement, and my wife watched the tree fall as we were closing the hatch for the cellar.
Falling right on top of cars.
2018 Toyota Sienna, so, yep, gone.
I was walking these streets last night, and in the dark, you could only really see the exposed roots of this tree. But now in the daylight, you can see just how tall it is, probably about 8 feet tall, and how far it extends, toppling over this home. The sound of cleanup as people cut down branches to get to their homes today.
They came through yelling for everyone to leave, that there was gas, and so we booked out.
We had to evacuate last night because of the gas leaks, so we actually had to leave the home, and we came back this morning, and this is what we saw.
A pastor for this church coming home early from vacation, only to find the roof partly torn off.
We got a lot of shingles off. We got 3 sheets of plywood off. Our steeple is down, which is, you know, one of the landmarks of the town.
Only thing left to do.
We'll pick it back up. We'll recover.
Pendleton strong.
And the incredible thing here is that no one was seriously hurt. One person had minor injuries, but it's pretty amazing that most everyone was safe here last night. Now, I was speaking with the Madison County Emergency Management Director, and he credits that to their social media efforts, getting the word out, and in part to their electronic alert system. They text and email people when there's severe weather in their area. And in this case last night, they even beat the National Weather Service by a few minutes. Now, our Paris LaBelle continues our team coverage tonight in Grant County, where another tornado touched down.